breakfast turned out to be quite meager, not at all Himitsu's style. I was eating, staring at my plate, and she was silently looking at me. What? I asked, unable to bear a silent stare anymore.
Nothing. I'm just looking.
Yeah, right.
Mika-kun, what are you going to do next?
I found it weird that she said you, not we. Even made me a bit upset. As soon as I finish, we go to school.
You know what I'm talking about.
I put the chopsticks aside and sighed. We already discussed this yesterday. Keep our heads down and attract no attention.
You think this is going to end that easily?
I don't know. I don't have much control over it.
Relying on blind chance again?
What else do you propose we do? If you have any ideas, I'd be happy to hear them. Once again, I was getting worked up and venting my frustration on Himitsu. It was a foul thing to do, especially after everything that had happened between us lately. Sorry, I really didn't mean to say it like that.
It's not the words that matter.
Then what? I forced out a smile, but she didn't react.
I thought about it the whole night. I need to talk to someone, ask for help.
Perhaps she was right. But for some reason, I still saw the Japanese police force as more or less kenpeitai. Don't know what that means. It was obvious to me that they would first and foremost defend the interests of their corporation, not some gaijins. For a capitalist country like Japan, in this particular case, the interests of Kobayashi Corporation were pretty much the interests of the nation itself. Not to mention that Soviet intelligence was involved in this too. Soviet intelligence had contacted me directly. I doubted the police would spend much of their effort figuring things out before taking me in as a spy. If only it were that simple. I'm not Japanese, understand? I've talked to the KGB. What would you think in the shoes of the people you want me to talk to?
But you didn't do anything wrong.
What's wrong and who's guilty here depend on your point of view. In Kobayashi Corporation's case, I'm guilty of having the information they believe I have. To the Russians, I'm guilty of living in Japan in the first place, not working for them. And, well, to the Japanese, I'm probably guilty of the same thing as my parents. Same thing that cost them their lives.
Mika-kun, sorry.
Are you apologizing for Kobayashi Corporation or Japan in general?
No, but they...
Who are they? And what would we accuse them of? Them who? They have neither a name nor a face, and the individual people who carry out orders are just pawns. They're easily replaceable and can always be written off if one screws up. Himitsu grew sadder.
Mika-kun, I'm scared.
Me too. Had I always been so prone to fatalism? After finishing breakfast, we sat there for quite a while, each occupied by their own thoughts. Or perhaps the same thoughts. Well, let's go, or we'll really be late. Himitsu just nodded, stood up from the table, and left for the hallway without clearing away the dishes. As usual, Tokyo didn't care one bit about the problems of its inhabitants, in general or in particular. Just a couple of days ago, it seemed to me that we were about to get a proper autumn, with rains, cold wind, and chilly air. But for some reason today was warm and sunny, just like in summer. The weather mocked me, making it clear that my problems didn't concern it one bit. You can't just do that, I exclaimed, not addressing anyone in particular, except maybe the clear blue sky.
Mika-kun?
Himitsu stopped and looked at my eyes agitatedly. Listen, how about we try to live like normal after all? I said unexpectedly, even to myself. Constantly stewing in our anxiety, waiting for something bad to happen. We just can't live like that. The worst that's happened so far was my conversation with that KGB woman. Not the most pleasant moment of my life, but it wasn't fatal either.
What about the note?
God, her and that note. I shouldn't have told Himitsu about it in the first place. Yeah, and the note. Just imagine we don't know anything about any of it. That was the case just a week ago. I wasn't sure I was trying to calm down, her or myself. I don't know, she seems pretty calm to me, dude. For the first time today, Himitsu smiled.
Alright, I'll do my best.
That's the spirit. I grinned. Now we run. I grabbed her by the hand and rushed to school.
Mika-kun?
It was hard to say if I had convinced Himitsu, but I certainly hadn't convinced myself. The first lesson had already started, but Catherine was yet to show up. I guess I still found it hard to believe that she was connected to the deaths of my parents. Maybe Katya was also a victim in a sense. The only way to figure that out was to talk to her directly. I could probably tell her about my conversation with Ichinose, without naming names, of course. But to do that, I had to find her. Kyosuke approached me during the break. Listen, Nick, he began hesitantly. I understand this isn't the best time, and you've probably got other stuff on your mind, but I wanted to ask you about something. Go ahead. Conversation with Kyosuke would be fun at least. That's what you think. Himitsu-chan has a friend. Suzuhara. For some reason he blushed, his eyes darting around the classroom as if looking for support. Who? Well, you know. Saya-chan? Kyosuke leaned to me and whispered, Saya-chan. Oh, she's got a surname too? I sniffed. Stop teasing, Nick. It's a matter of life and death. Yeah, Kyosuke wants Nikolai to play the wingman, but fucking Saya can't stand Nikolai. That's hilarious. Oh, especially after he was like, yeah, no, listen, you could never land a man. You could never land a man. Well, guess what? Your homie wants to get at it. So what now? Wait, let me guess. You want me to introduce you? I was barely holding back laughter. To be honest, I don't think she's your best choice. Try our biology teacher. She's only, what, 70? I don't want anything like that. Why are you asking? Because... Kyosuke seemed to get mad and hissed. You call yourself a friend? Oh, come on. I smiled in good nature and asked, still, how'd she manage to catch your eye? Seems to be as far from your 2D goddesses as they come. Plus, I've talked to her a couple of times and think you should know that even Iwamura is more cordial. By the way, Kagome wasn't in class. Previously, I hadn't paid attention to her at all, but for class rep, she seemed to be skipping a lot. No, really, what do you see in her? Are you going to keep making fun of me? You started it. Although maybe Kyosuke thought Saya was his only option. In that case, my words must have stung even more. For many years now, he'd seen Himitsu follow me around like a pet, God forgive me, pretty much pampering me. Kyosuke never gave me any reason to believe he was envious, but in a way, it was obvious. Any lonely guy would feel the same in his place. Easy for you to say. You've got Himitsu-chan, Catherine-san. You shouldn't have brought Catherine into this. What do you think I am? I said coldly. What does Catherine have to do with it? Or do you think we should be in a relationship by default because we used to be? Exactly. Used to. I gave you the right to laugh at. He fell silent and screwed up his face. Whatever. Forget it. Maybe you and Saya would make a good pair. I turned away from Kyosuke with a heavy sigh and his head low. He returned to his desk. Telling Himitsu about this conversation would most likely be a bad idea. Although I definitely could have been more polite. What do the others think, I wondered. Kyosuke wasn't the only one who knew we used to be together. They simply weren't letting me forget about it. And now was the worst moment for it. I had more important problems. However, the tugging feeling of longing captured me whole with renewed strength. Why? Why? I hate that about this. It's always just like, yeah, no, it's not really on the forefront of my mind anymore. I'm more worried about this. I'm more worried about that. I'm worried about, you know, the corporation, the KGB, Himitsu's safety, all this stuff. And then he's just like, you used to be with Catherine. Oh, God, Catherine, I miss you. I miss you so much, Catherine. Catherine, please, Catherine, come back to me. Catherine, 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 I need you, Catherine. Catherine. Oh, Catherine, Catherine, Catherine. Oh, Catherine. Oh, Catherine, Catherine. Oh, Catherine, Catherine, Catherine. It's like, homie. The fuck? Why just out of nowhere, or do you just go fucking in the paint for Catherine? It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Explain. Explain. Make it make sense, because it don't. Oh, God. Yep, I'm starting to get antsy again. I'm getting upset to the point where I'm antsy and I can't sit still. That was the problem last time. That's the problem last time. Okay. Oh boy. Let's go. Unfortunately, human emotions work separately from logic. Clearly. Because my logical brain is saying you're a fucking idiot. And my emotions are rage. Often, even in spite of it. Yeah, the logic, honestly, yeah, the logical thing would be, hey, don't get all pissy to the point where you're antsy. It makes recording a bit uncomfortable. But my brain said, my heart is saying, hey, get pissed. Go full dog mode on him. Let the beast out. They work when you need them least, yeah. How could I talk to Catherine when the only thing I was capable of thinking about was my broken heart? I mean, clearly it's not the only thing you think about. Clearly it's not the only thing you think about. Like, you were ready to have a full-ass conversation with her until you saw her fucking Japanese notebooks. Alright? You were ready to have a chill conversation And you weren't, freaking out about, oh, my broken heart. But then you saw the Japanese notebooks, connected some dots, and then started having a little mini freak out. Alright? Which I can't even blame him for that one. But it's just, now it's just like, oh, but my broken heart. Homie, you haven't complained about your broken heart in hours. What are you talking about? Fuck your heart. It was like trying to eat a kilo of oranges with a citrus allergy. Kachi didn't come to school, and Kachi didn't come to the second lesson either. Yesterday she'd been picked up by a car, and today she didn't show up in school at all. I was worried about her and couldn't do anything about it. The more I thought about everything that had happened, the more worried I got. It was like all the same as then, a year and a half ago. At first I had simply been shocked, broken, and crushed by her actions. But then came the anger. I blamed Catherine, even hated her. But soon enough, as is typical for me, started to look for reasons in myself. No, not like that. I wasn't looking for reasons or trying to calmly analyze the situation. I was simply blaming myself. And now, too, the more I thought, the more I blamed myself specifically. In the end, I couldn't bear it any longer and fled home after my second class. I walked the streets at a measured pace, unable to calm down, as if dragging an incredibly heavy cart of feelings and worries behind me. I was most likely just afraid of what I could learn. Best case scenario, she left for the States. Worst case, the dial tone in the receiver grated my ear, but no one was answering. Why did I even think she'd be home? Maybe she was simply taking a walk, or sitting in the cafe, or... Ah, damn it! I dialed the number I knew by heart again and again. Again and again. But unalterably, the only response I got was the calm, emotionless dial tone. What if she simply didn't want to pick up? That was totally possible. Then I had to go get her. Immediately. Now. I quickly slipped on my sneakers and froze. What about my surveillance? They most likely knew much more about the Winters family than I did, but wouldn't my feverish floundering arouse or raise fresh suspicion? On the other hand, what? I couldn't just visit a classmate? Yeah, see, I can kind of figure where I need to go with this one, so we're just gonna stay home. Though the last time I chose not to go look for Catherine, she showed up on my doorstep, so who fucking knows at this point, right? I was attacked by a strange apathy. I had no strength to move or make any decisions. Don't worry, homie, I'll make your decisions. Any action seemed pointless. Looking for Catherine, going to her place. Things would either work themselves out or they wouldn't. I was sitting in a stupor for a good half an hour before someone rang the door. Maybe it was Katya. Well, okay, if you're saying it, the chances are it isn't. If you're like, oh, maybe it's this person, that's almost assuredly not. Very rarely does he call it. What if she came to me? I excitedly rushed to open it. It was just Himitsu at my doorstep, and all my excitement immediately evaporated. Why? You little cutie pie. What are you ringing for? I asked gloomily.
I don't know.
She seemed agitated. So why are you here?
Nika-kun,
I mean, why aren't you at school?
I saw you leave, and so I was worried.
Alright, let's go inside. I walked to my room. Himitsu sat down on the bed, not too far from me, and asked,
Did something happen? Why did you leave school? You said yourself we should act normal.
Are you saying skipping school isn't normal for me? I smirked.
Nika-kun, you know what I mean.
Of course I knew, god damn it. But I couldn't exactly tell Himitsu that I had spent the entire day thinking about Catherine and went home to call her. Not when we had seemingly just made up. I had a panic attack. I finally came up with an answer. I wanted to be away from other people, in a familiar place. And here I was, lying to her again. Even if it was for her own good, as I saw it.
And how are you feeling now?
Judging by her face, she believed me. Perhaps Himitsu simply couldn't imagine I would lie about this. It was about my health, after all. Better, thank you.
Should I bring you something?
If you happen upon some whiskey.
Nika-kun, I'm serious.
Everything's fine, I just needed to calm down. I approached and sat down next to her. I hope they won't punish you for skipping. They could call your home, you know. Calling mine doesn't exactly do much.
I asked to leave. Said I had a stomach ache.
You've got it nice.
You'd have it nice too if you thought about your future even a little.
She finally smiled. Well, that's kind of the only thing I've been thinking about lately. Himitsu gave me a questioning look about whether I'll have one at all. She covered my hand with hers and leaned her head against my shoulder. Fuck yeah.
Everything will be alright.
I believe you. And to think that just a minute ago my mind was fully occupied by Catherine. I mean, I was cheating on her with Himitsu. Or Himitsu with her. Mentally. I suddenly grew scared, as if seized by a real panic attack. Carefully stood up from the bed and walked across the room. If I learn something new, I'll tell you right away.
Alright.
She said seriously.
Should we eat?
Isn't it too early?
Aren't you hungry?
Not really. Maybe later? The only thing I wanted at the moment was to be alone with myself. Himitsu kept silent for a while, then said,
Nikakun, you're withdrawing into yourself and hiding something. Do you think that will make everything better? Do you think it'll do you any good?
I'm not withdrawing anywhere. Although after a glance into her sad eyes, I couldn't keep lying. Fine, I am, but I need to, at least for now. Please just understand and don't argue.
I can't understand what you're doing to yourself.
What am I doing to myself?
All this.
She responded uncertainly, pursed her lips, and turned away. I don't understand what you don't understand.
Kadi-chan, the alcohol, the depression, you're slowly killing yourself.
She looked at me with a plea in her eyes.
If not for yourself, then at least for me.
She added in a whisper. I didn't know how to respond. Oh, Himitsu. Of course she was right. There wasn't even any point in arguing. My constant fights with Himitsu, what were they all for? What was I trying to achieve? What was I trying to prove, and to who? I simply found it hard to acknowledge my own wrongs, hard to decide on a specific course of action, hard to make a choice. But if only I was the only one suffering for it. I understand, I do, but now just isn't a good time. I need to deal with this all myself, otherwise, it's so we can move on with our lives.
You say we, but where is us? Has it ever existed?
Himitsu wrung her hands in pain and looked ready to burst into tears. Don't do it, sweetie. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. I don't want to continue this meaningless argument because I've said everything there is to say. Despite everything, I still behaved like a complete asshole. To agree with her now is to give up everything familiar. Give up Catherine. Good. Do it. Toss that bitch out the window. Fucking get out of here. I don't want to hear another goddamn word about fucking window. Now. Out. Bye, bitch. But I still won't be able to keep my feet in both worlds. Exactly. Gotta make a choice. Gotta make a choice. Give me the choice. Right here, right now. I'll make the choice for you, buddy. I'll make that choice for you, my G, my guy, my dude, my bro, my homie. Come on. Give me the choice. Give me the choice. You feeling indecisive? I got you. Give me the choice. Give me the choice. Put it in front of me. Give me the choice. When I figure it all out, I figured it out for you. Give me the choice. I felt myself lacking air. When I figure it all out, then what? What'll happen? Will everything return to normal? Was I ready to promise her that, or would it be a lie? A false hope that would end up finally breaking Himitsu. I'll figure it all out. For now, I need to be alone to think.
Then I'll go.
She said hollowly. No, my heart. It seemed that wasn't how Himitsu wanted this conversation to end. No, I'll go. I want to get some fresh air. As fresh as it could be in Tokyo.
I'll be waiting.
That's not necessary.
Maybe. But I will. Oh, Himitsu. My heart. She's such a little sweetie. God damn it.
She tried to pretend everything was fine. Everything was normal. I felt even more ashamed. But I really couldn't keep lying to both of them. I probably shouldn't have had this conversation. I should have gone to Catherine right away. No, what the fuck? I should have gone to Catherine. Why? What the fuck do you mean you should have gone to Catherine? What the fuck do you mean you should have gone to Catherine? Huh? What the fuck do you mean you should have gone to Catherine? Who the fuck do you think you are? What the fuck do you mean you should have gone to Catherine, huh? Who the fuck do you think you are? Who the fuck do you think you are? Huh? You should have gone to Catherine? Why? Why? Huh? Tell me. think you are? Catherine! Fucking Catherine! No! 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 Fucking Catherine. Man, he gets out of this emotional moment. He's like, anyway, shit on to Catherine. Fucking Catherine. Fucking Catherine. I don't give a fuck about Catherine. Fuck Catherine. But don't fuck Catherine. Catherine. I hate that name. I'm never going to be able to look at a bitch named Catherine ever again. Some woman walks into the store, like, some woman walks into my place of employment and is just like, hey, hi, my name's Catherine. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm like, hey, yo, hello, my name's Catherine. I'm like, you motherfucker. You think you could just walk in here and just be named Catherine? You think you could just do that, huh? You think you're allowed to just exist as Catherine? No. Be like, hi, my name's Katie. Oh yeah? Is that short for something? Is your full name Katie? Or is Katie short for something, huh? You hiding something? Huh? You hiding something from me? Hi, my name's Kathy. Oh, Kathy, huh? Kathy, you say. Is that short for something? Like, it's like if you're a cop, you need to tell me. Listen, if your name's short for Catherine, you need to tell me. That's just how you need to. It's a requirement. All right. Oh, Kathy, is it? Is that the full name? Or is that short for something, huh? You got a little secret you need to tell me? You need to tell your old pal Vidya a little secret here? What'd you say? Oh, is it short for, what's that? Catherine? You get the fuck up out of my store. Just the name just fucking triggers so much anger in me. And I've only just, started in on this route. And then there's going to be Catherine's actual route. Ugh. I can't take it, guys. I really can't take it. This shit is wearing on me. Heavily. I keep thinking, oh no, I got it. No problem. I keep thinking I'm on top of the ball. I'm not. Every time I'm thinking like, nah, I'm good. It's Catherine. It's fucking Catherine. This dude's obsession with Catherine. I don't know. I like, that's the thing. I keep going on these tangents, these rants, and part of it is just stalling because I just don't want to go further. I don't want to hear more about Catherine. I want to see more of Himitsu. I want to see more of that relationship blossoming. But I know in order to see that, I have to see more Catherine. I have to hear more about Catherine. Honestly, I don't mind seeing Catherine. The actual interactions between him and Catherine, they further the plot. They give me something more to work with. That's great. That's wonderful even. It's when he's just sitting here. And for no reason, his brain just goes, Catherine. Oh, Catherine. Oh, Catherine. That's when it pisses me off. When Catherine's actually there, and he's like, oh, hey, that's Catherine. I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. That is Catherine. That I don't feel too bad about. But when Homeboy's just sitting here, staring out at the Tokyo scenery and just like, what about Catherine? Like, then I got like, okay, listen, sir, shut the fuck up. Deep breaths. Let me get a drink. Fuck, I know Nikolai's an alcoholic. I'm about to fucking start drinking if this motherfucker keeps mentioning Catherine. Here's a fun drinking game if you don't want to be alive for much longer. Take a shot every time he says Catherine. And if you want to play by baby rules, take a sip of whatever drink you got whenever he says Catherine. You got a beer, just take a sip of your beer every time he brings up Catherine. Anytime he like the narration or Nikolai actually says it, whether it's his actual like speech or just the narration, whenever the name Catherine is mentioned by Nikolai specifically, alright, if other characters mention her, that's fine. But when Nikolai mentioning Catherine every time, take a sip, just a little, It's like, oh, I shouldn't have gone to Catherine right away. I guarantee you, I don't care. Fuck. You could be drinking water. Take a sip of water. Every time he says Catherine, you're going to drown. You're going to drown. Ayo, take a bite of food. Every time he says Catherine, you will run out of food. You will need to go grocery shopping the next day because you won't have shit left in your house. Your ass gonna have to drive down to McDonald's. Pick up a big ol' fucking... Pick up like fucking 20 pieces of nuggets, alright? And then just like eat half a nugget, alright? Eat half a fucking McNugget. Every time he says the name Catherine, I guarantee you buy 100 nuggets, that shit'll be gone before you finish a route. Probably even before you even get to like where the routes actually split off. Cause let's be real here, alright? He says Catherine a lot during like the common section, alright? When you actually get to the branch off point and you're actually locked into a route, like fuck, I'm not even on Catherine's route. That's the thing. I know Himitsu's and Catherine's are like intertwined essentially, but it's like still, it's like you're gonna be out of McNuggets. Is my point. Like, you don't want to run out of McNuggets. I've gone on such a tangent, but like I said, it's just because I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. And I know when I press that little enter key right there, it's just going to give me more Catherine. It's just going to give me more Catherine. And you know what? That's not what I want. I don't want more Catherine. Quite the opposite. Just imagine how miserable I'm going to be when I actually do Catherine's route. I am going to be a mess. But you know what? Enough bullshit. Let's move forward.